This is a spoiler review for Loki episode 6. This is the season finale. Now, if you haven't watched the episode yet, so there will be spoilers here. Either way, if you still want to watch it, you're also welcome. So let's talk about Loki episode 6. Fantastic episode. I love it. Is uh, it's still difficult to rank this show between this show in WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm not sure of the ranking, not yet, but I feel between these three shows, this was the most satisfying ending of the three. I mean, the ending was just excellent for me. I really enjoy it. Now, when the Loki and Sylvie enters the castle and they discover the door, and then the elevator door opens and you see Jonathan Majors sitting there with that cool outfit with the purple color. It just was awesome. Kane, I know that, like I said in the video before, there were made too many things and reference there they were indicating that it's going to be Kane. So seeing Kane, it was just really satisfying to watch. And well, Jonathan Majors really, he did have a blast filming those scenes that he have. Yeah, I mean, he was just like really electrifying, and his performance was just so cool, and he was really like a dangerous villain. So the and the fact that he knew everything is about to happen, it's just fantastic. Now I like the part that he said, I have been called many names. He mentions Conquer, the reference to King the Conquer. I know that in the show, in this episode, that they specify him as Ken, but he's Ken. We all know he's Ken. So for this purpose, let's call him Kane. And he also mentioned the other names, the one who remains, and also a joke. That was funny. Now, eh, this episode was just, it was more like a setup for Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now, it was just a very centered episode of exposition, and I really like that. Now, Ken, he's the one came for the 21st century. He he discovers the multiverse. He discovers the technology to the temper to travel between different timelines, and he discovered other versions of himself. In this case, other variants. So they started to communicate and build the technology to continue to work together and community themselves. And some of the Kane variants were just want to like have all for themselves. They were not like interested in in making that communication with the other variants and have like a peace. And that's when the war started, the multiversal war. It was just all other Ken variants fighting themselves for dominance. Now, this Ken, the one from the 21st century, he 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 basically created Elia, the cloud master. He he basically weaponized him to end this multiversal war, to end this conflict. And by doing that, he basically destroyed the other Kane variants. And by doing so, he managed to create to have only one timeline. And because of that, he needed the TVA in order to maintain and protect the that timeline, the secret timeline. And that was the main purpose that the TVA was created. Now, all of that is very interesting because this can also lead to in terms of the future, the NCU, to the secret wars. Well, that's a common. The different versions of the same heroes fight this fight this so we can see maybe if Kevin Feige wishes to go that route, we can see different versions of hero fighting themselves just to survive in a timeline. So that would be interesting to see, and I hope Kevin Feige does that. This is clearly like a, a starting point for that, so he could continue to build up, and that could be like the big event for the NCU. We also have like the Secret Invasion and other stuff coming, so it will be interesting how it all connects. Now, let's talk about so let's talk about Disney Plus shows and movies connecting because I believe that Kevin Feige said that you don't necessarily have to watch the Disney Plus show to understand what is happening in the movies. And well, this episode it was had this episode have major consequences to the NCU. So I believe that you have to watch the shows. Of course, in the movie they can recap everything like in 1 minute or so, but it's not the same, especially when you're talking about different variants and timelines and multiverse. Especially, well, this episode was the entire episode was just exposition, so that takes a lot of time. So I'm curious to see the other Disney Plus shows and movies connecting with with themselves. So let's move on to Loki and Sylvie. Now, very sad for Loki. I mean, he didn't get exactly like a happy ending. So it was interesting because when Loki and Sylvie enters the castle and Miss Minutes appear, and Miss Minutes told them that to Loki and said, Loki, if you want to win the Avengers battle in New York, you can have that. You want to defeat Thanos, you can have that. No problem. If you want to rule Asgard, be the king of Asgard, you can have that too. And so if you can have a timeline of your own, you could be happy and all of that. In fact, you can both of them, Loki and Sylvie, can exist in the same timeline. So that was interesting. But of course, that wasn't enough for them, and then they didn't want that. So they move on then, and this is interesting because of course a Loki lie, a Loki always has a plan and all of that. But Loki knew that what Kane was telling them, it was true to some degree, of course. But he he knew that maybe if they killed him, if they kill Kane, this version of Kane, something worse will be will be coming. And Sabi, she, she just was too tight with her past, her childhood, and in fact, can tell her grow up because she was too mixed in her emotions to to believe what what Ken was telling. So that's when the conflict started between Loki and Sylvie because Loki don't didn't want to kill this Ken, and Sylvie clearly want to, and th- that was like really sad because, well, I wanted to both of them to be happy, and that clearly didn't happen. And so she sent like Loki back to the TVA, and she eventually killed this version Ken, and she was just very angry, like you want to beg for your life, and she kills the this version of Ken, and he told her, "I'll see you soon." And we all know that a different version variants of Ken are now coming, and that he knew all of that, especially doubting like in some moment the crosses a point when Ken doesn't know what really is going to happen to him. He doesn't have the knowledge anymore. But he still knows that if he dies, the other variants of him will be coming. And that's exactly what is what's going to happen. And it was just it was just sad between have the have them separate Loki and Sylvie, and having seen Loki at the TVA just sitting there and feeling like devastating because he couldn't stop. He lost Sylvie, and also he couldn't stop her. So he knows what is about to happen. Now let's talk about Ravonna, Renslayer, the judge. Now this was interesting because she was downloading the information, and then Miss Menace came, and when the information was downloaded, she said to when Slayer said to Miss Menace, like, this is the information I asked you for. And Miss Menace said something like, yeah, but he thinks this will be useful for you, something like that. But he clearly mentioned him. So then Mobius came to the office of her, trying to stop her. He couldn't, and she said like, I'm going I'm going in search of free will, and she went into the time path door, and that's interesting because in that same scene she said the only one who has free will is the one in charge. So I, I have a feeling that we're going to see her in the future, maybe in Loki season 2 with another version of Cam. Now let's talk about Mobius and Hunter B-15. Now that that moment was just wow because Loki came like he have like a plan or idea to to stop this, to stop these Kane variants. So he started searching for Mobius in the TVA, and he finds Mobius and Hunter B-15, and he started to explain all of that. This man is evil, and many versions of him are coming, and all of that. And the moment that you realize that when Mobius told him, "Who are you? Who is your name? From what department?" or something like that. It they clearly doesn't remember him because it was just like the that they were being reset. So he he's the only one with the knowledge of what happened before. And what is shocking is when we see the statue that was originally like the three timekeepers. This time it's just Ken, a statue of Ken. And maybe Loki was there for a couple of minutes at the TVA when Survey sent him to the TVA, but this version of Cam looks like he's been there a while and he was preparing for this. So that's clearly a setup for Loki season 2 that is actually at the post credit scene. They put in the post credit scene that Loki season 2 is coming, so it's confirmed. And I'm really curious how this is going to play out because we know that Kane is the villain in Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, and we know that he's going to be like the main villain in season 2 because he's running the TVA now. So let's see where Loki season 2 takes place. If see after or before Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. But now I can see Ken appearing in maybe different in many movies, like maybe in a post-credit scene as Spider-Man No Way Home, or maybe in Doctor Strange in the actually Doctor Strange movie. So let's see. Now there are rumors that maybe that it's not yet confirmed officially that Loki will be back in Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. So let's keep an eye on that. Now, like I said, fantastic show. There was some weaker episodes, but for the most part, it was really a fantastic show. I think between the three of them, this WandaVision, Falcon, the Winter Soldier, this was the most satisfying ending for me. So I'm just really excited for the future of the MCU. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button. I'm curious to see what you think of the future of the MCU, about Kane, about Loki season 2, and Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, Ant-Man and the West Quantumania, how all of that connect to to all this. So I'll see you again later, and thank you for watching.